Well, good evening, everyone. We'll see if this is going to be a go for tonight here. Haven't done this for a bit. What we did one December 30th, so it's a new year. New year, and yeah, we're gonna take a look at some of the weather stuff that's going on around the local area. Just going to get started here in just a minute here. Make sure everybody hopefully this is all looking good here. Yeah, good evening, Randy. Small Whatcom County weather. Let me just set up over here real quick. I'm trying to get the both things going here at the same time. Looks like we got Facebook going, and it looks like we got YouTube going. Yeah, great to have you along tonight. It is Saturday night, January 3rd. I think I have that correct. So good to have you all aboard here. And yeah, let's see. If you're new and you've followed Whatcom County weather recently, glad to have you join. I'm Randy Small. I have started this a few years ago, and this whole thing has grown way faster than I ever thought it would. So glad to have you guys all on tonight. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm going to check the chat here. Hopefully it's working. Maybe somebody can let me know if it's sound is good. I think I have the chat set up here in YouTube, and also on looks like I have it going on yeah, here we go. We got lots of people on. I wonder why my chat over here isn't okay. It's running now, so it looks like I am good. YouTube, Keith is always here. Northwest Spirit, good evening to JICWFS. Steph Brotman, Happy New Year. Good hearing me. Mark, good evening. Hill Family Homestead, good evening. Yeah, Seahawks won tonight. Yes, and I know not everybody is a Seahawk fan, so I understand that, but we are happy and looking forward to see with the first round bye what we can do. So everybody is on YouTube side. Let's just quick check Facebook here. Still haven't figured out how to do a horizontal on Facebook and or excuse me on YouTube and vertical on Facebook, but someday I will figure it out. But it looks like, yep, Shirley's here, Danny's here on Facebook. So let's go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining me again. Hit the like on YouTube, ding the bell, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. On Facebook, love it, and chat and comment. Either side is great. The more we do that, the more we are. I think we are just about fully monetized on YouTube. So good news there. And I think there's some super chat that's been set up on, don't ask me how this all works, but on YouTube. So I think I've set it up, but who knows? And a few other things that come with it. But it's great news, and we have built the YouTube channel up to getting close to 1.65, let's see, 1,650 subscribers. So really appreciate that. Let's take a look here. We'll start with our normal observations. We'll talk about mountain snow. We'll talk about wind. We'll talk about coastal flood warning coming tomorrow. Looks like just about everybody's in the 40s here tonight. And so that looks good. Not anything really special. A little bit of rain. We'll show you that in just a little bit. And a little bit of northeast wind. We had some southerlies earlier. We can take a look at that here in just a second here. Max wind gust today since midnight. It's 21 out in Birch Bay, 19 up in Blaine, 36 in Ferndale, 27 kind of in that same area. For some reason, the Bellingham Airport is not logging on this. Let me check something about that, and I'm not sure why that is not logging. Let me take a look here at this as to why there's no... Yeah, they did have gust. Okay, the airport's highest gust seems to be about 38 this morning. And I'm not sure why that's not logging on this one over here. But I'll have to, oops, not max temperature, max wind gust. I'm not sure why. Anyway, 38 at the airport, 35 in Bellingham, elsewhere, 25 and 19 respectively in Linden, 24 out in Sumas, 17 up in the foothills. Not a lot up here in the foothills. So that's kind of in the max wind gust, about what we thought into the teens and 20s. and I think that's what it's done overall. And then we have, let's see, yeah, not really anything else to mention here on the station plot. It's just northeast flow right now, and we're in the 40s. Let me just quick take a look at where we are just to start for year to date, or not year to date, month to date. We're only 2 days in, but the normal precip for Bellingham Airport is, and by the way, if you didn't catch my post earlier, I put up the December 25 stats. Warmer than normal, both highs and lows, and also wetter than normal, and top 4 all time for most rain in December. As we come into January 26, we have an average of 4.49 inches. Hopefully everybody can see that okay. We had a 1/10 of an inch yesterday. Let's see what the airport's gotten today. Just a real quick, it looks like we got about 1500s. Looks like 1500s plus 2. So about a 20 hundredths. Not quite a 1/4 inch, but we might end up with that today. So that's what I see there for the airport. So we'll be at about 1/3 of the inch after the first 3 days. So nothing earth shaking. Temperatures right around normal, a little bit cooler than normal. Of course, we had a 28-degree yesterday morning, so that's bringing us down here. But in the beginning of the year, we're not, it's a little bit early for data on that. So let's see here. Let me take a look at that. Okay, and I pulled the accumulation graph. Hopefully you can see this okay for the year of 2025 here for the airport. And what we have is in October, mid-October, we were about 4 inches under for normal. We ended up 1.47 inches over normal. So 36.18 was the final amount. There might have been a couple days missing. Looks like there's 1 day missing. Don't know that. I don't think it rained that day. The average is 34.71 for the year. So we have about 1.5 inches more than normal. So overall, considering we made up 4 inches plus went over 1.5 inches, that was that crazy December with rain. Basically 4 inches more than normal. That helped us. So good for that. So that's kind of the year to date for 2025. And I also put a post up for that. So if you missed that, you can go check that out. Let's take a look at the Mount Baker ski area. We are now at 32 degrees at the ski area. And it looks like I don't know if we got any snow yet, but base sitting around 49 inches and 30 up at Pandome. So it has been above freezing for quite a while, so that's finally dipped below. In fact, let me just quick look at the snow report here. I'm going to move this into here. So let's take a look at the snow report for today. Oh, they are saying 1 inch of new snow. Okay. That was 2:10 p.m. So I'm not sure. Let me go back and look at this. 2:10. Well, I guess it was 33 degrees. So, yep, there is 1 inch of snow, and I was going to say that, but wasn't for sure. That was rating right. So they do have 1 inch of new snow and a base of 49 inches, 89 at Pandome. When we were up there on Tuesday, there was a good amount up there, and it was really nice. And here's an update from Sam up there, January 3rd. Looks like it's snowing back there, and yeah. Yeah, this was earlier today. A lot of the chairs, not quite all of them running, but yeah. And then I think we're going to see a bunch more snow, and we'll talk about that in just a minute as well. Okay, Josh says it was windy up there at Artist Point and also started snowing hard when we left Artist Point. Okay, Josh, what time was that? 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, somewhere in that range? So he must have snowshoed or skied up to Artist Point, it appears like, which we kind of made an attempt the other day in the snowshoeing side, but we didn't quite make it, and that was okay. I think I'd had enough after about 3 hours of snowshoeing, considering I hadn't done it in about 3 years. So, okay, so that's the snow update. Let's quick look here at weather-wise, and we're going to take a look and see what we have for weather headlines. And the most concerning thing is this coastal flood warning. And this is for the shorelines, and it is specifically in western Whatcom County along with San Juan County, and I will post this after we're done, but it is tomorrow morning. We have a king tide and a full moon, and we have some wind. So they are talking about significant coastal flooding due to high tides and storm surge. It's expected to lead to numerous road closures. Low-lying property, including homes, business, and some critical infrastructure, may be inundated. Now, I can't predict. I cannot predict what the amount of flooding might be, but I know that I've seen Birch Bay area flood and Sandy Point both, and I've live streamed both of those over the years. I can't predict that that's what's going to happen, but they have a flood warning in place. So if you live in the low-lying area, say at Sandy Point and Birch Bay, those come to my mind immediately. I'm sure, there's some other low-lying areas that maybe I'm not thinking of, but, Birch Bay Drive, where they had to redo that, and then down as you go to, I want to say Jackson Road. Let me, hold on a second. I can pull this up. Blaine. Let me pull this up on Google Map. Because I've live streamed here, and I think, let me see if I do this right here. Let me pull this up. I think it's Jackson, but I'm probably going to mess this up. No, it is. It is Jackson Road. It's right here. Hopefully you can see that map. And I will, I wish I should have pulled up that video, but, Jackson Road crosses, this waterway, and I don't honestly know. Somebody's going to tell me what waterway this is. This little creek or little inland waterway just inside Birch Bay Drive, and I guess it's Terrell Creek. But that bridge on Jackson crosses, and I have literally parked right up here on this Woolridge Drive and walked into this big flooding area right down here along Birch Bay Drive, right as you go into the state park. Yeah, kind of, I guess it would be south of the Sea Shop, but I've also seen water all over in here in these low-lying areas. So I'm not sure what to tell you on this, other than there is a coastal flood warning there. So if you know somebody that lives there, I know some of those are rentals, some of those are summer homes. There on Birch Bay Drive, Sandy Point, yep, there's probably some summer, maybe some Canadians own some of these places as well, and maybe they're not even occupied. But if you just keep an eye, and if you know somebody, let them know. Brenda mentioned Marietta. That's another good point. Marietta, Semiahmoo Spit, with king tides in the wind, and we do have some wind tomorrow, so I'm going to go over to that in just a moment. But I want you to know that there is this coastal flood advisory, and I'm talking about that. And again, I will post this after I'm done. I want you to recognize for the morning hours tomorrow, there could be some issues. King tide, I did not look this up. King tide, Birch Bay. Let's see the tide forecast for Birch Bay. Let me see. So, let's see. Today's high tide was 13.6. It's 13.7 tomorrow, and yeah, so tomorrow's the highest tide, even though 13.6 both Saturday and Monday. But we have a high tide and a full moon was tonight, which I doubt anybody saw because it's hidden behind the rain and the clouds. So, yeah, and Mia here is talking about that, living on Terrell Drive behind the Sea Shop, and that street flood. So going back to there, I just lost my bearings here a little bit because I backed out of here. Hang on, here's Jackson. So then the Sea Shop, and then Terrell Drive is right here. And this is also a warning. Let me tell you that that it doesn't necessarily mean everything's going to flood, but we hope it doesn't. I've actually helped people clean out in the middle of the flood and try to help them out a few years ago. But just so you know and understand, this is a possibility. Let your friends know if they have a beach house or a home, or if they don't. I'm sure they recognize it and they'll watch the tide table. But just something to really keep in mind. Again, I'll post that as well. Not that there's a lot you could do at this point. I don't, I got it. But maybe you could move some stuff up. Higher ground, so to speak, upstairs. I don't know, but just a few thoughts there. So that's the big thing that I was concerned about for tomorrow. Okay, let's take a look. I'm going to drop over and look at, I'm going to switch this over to Weather Bell here, and I am going to look at the wind here real quick, because that kind of coincides with this. So hopefully you can see my wind map here. That's going to come up in just a second. It looks like I'm good on both Facebook and YouTube, it looks like. So let me take a look at the latest wind gusts. I just refreshed this, so it's out at least 60 hours here on the UW tonight, and it's starting off too fast here. Let me move this to the center so you hopefully can see that better. Okay, so this is the latest UW high-res 4K model. I don't like using the 1 1/3, even though that's better. It zeroes in on 1 1/3 squares versus 4K squares, but it's hard to see sometimes. So if we put this into motion, we got some northeast flow here at 7 o'clock. I know it's past that, but that's what we're seeing tonight, turning into a little bit easterlies here. And then tomorrow, as you go into the morning hours, you start to see these southerlies around 4 a.m. picking up even a little earlier right along the coastline. Here, let me zoom in on this. So you see these southeasterlies or southerlies right here in Bellingham and along the water, a little bit kind of inland as well as it battles the northeast. And then we go ahead till 7 in the morning. I believe this is 7. Yeah, let me pull this down. Yep, 7 in the morning. You can see that timestamp right up here. Sunday, January 4th for 7 PST, Pacific Standard Time. That's tomorrow. We see southerlies. Not anything crazy here at this point. 15, 20 knots. So, 25, 30 mile an hour gusts maybe along the water. But it's just something that we got to keep an eye on. Now, that's heading into king tide time. And then by 10 o'clock, and we're skipping 3 hours, it's up to 25 knots in certain areas, and it's all southerlies all the way across the county, even into the hills and mountains by 10 a.m. So expecting to see some southerlies tomorrow, combined with that king tide and, this full moon and it being a super moon and the earth being closest to the whatever. Scott Sistek wrote a good post about it, but there are like 3 things that all kind of come together. It's probably a really good thing we don't have westerlies or northwesterlies, because that would be potentially big time problems. Although, having said that, you'll notice some westerlies coming down the strait here into the islands. So that's probably one of the reasons why the San Juans have been flagged for this as well. So, assuming, again, it's southwesterly, maybe not quite as bad as what a westerly or northwesterly might do, but it's something to keep an eye on for tomorrow. And I expect some southerlies tomorrow. Nothing in wind advisory that I'm seeing, but definitely more wind than our Christmas Eve storm. That's going to be a joke for a long time. But I think we were all glad that didn't happen, even though we might have, I try not to overhype it. But anyway, that's another story for another day. We talked about that. So into the afternoon, even some more southerlies possible. And then scaling back as we go later in the afternoon is what it seems to be. And then you'll notice as we go into Monday, we got some northwesterlies on Monday, and maybe some westerlies, nothing crazy there. As we go into Monday, some more southerlies Monday night, possibly into Tuesday. Definitely want to keep an eye on that. Might even be advisory. Tuesday morning, that's putting out some 35 knots. Even maybe a little bit of 40 knot in there, right in Bellingham. So that'd be pushing 40 to 50 miles an hour. Now, again, this is just one run here tonight, but Tuesday morning, we need to keep an eye on that. Continuing on into Wednesday, and then into Tuesday afternoon, not Wednesday. Tuesday afternoon, and then scaling back Tuesday night. So we're going to need to keep an eye on that Tuesday time frame as well. That Tuesday morning into afternoon, it looks like it, 35, maybe some 40 knots, which is about 42 to 45, 46 miles an hour, something like that. Phony Baloney asks, what is the barometer to be at that makes the tides higher? Yes, there is a low pressure system that can definitely, and there is probably a low pressure. We could take a look at that. Hold on a second. Let me take a look. I think we'll look at the Euro. And it's often a low pressure system. Let me see here. But this low pressure system, thankfully, is going to be, it looks to be off far enough away. And I don't know if you can see this, but this 988 low is way up here in Vancouver Island. And so if that thing was closer, we would be talking about, something probably bigger. But we do see the barometer sitting here at 993, 994 tomorrow. Well, that's early morning. As we push this earlier, this is what's going to cause these southerlies. This is about 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. So we got, the pressure is starting to rise here as we go into that. Here's 8 o'clock. So we got 996, 995. I mean, if this low had been a little further south, a little closer, but again, this could affect things. So that's a good point about that low pressure as it comes in. Into Vancouver Island. There's about 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, assuming the euro is somewhat accurate. And it generally, I would say, is probably one of the better models at this, even though it's a low res model, but when it can pick this kind of stuff up pretty good. So, yeah, we're going to keep an eye, again, coastal flood warning. So for Birch Bay, again, that coastal area, Birch Bay and Sandy Point and et cetera. And Washington Weather Chasers is in the house, and he's like a celebrity here. Whenever he comes in this place, we always make a shout out to Ben, and he has done yeoman's work, heroic work in the flooding last month. I would put him up as one of my mentors, and even though he's younger than me, but a good friend, and really appreciate him. And I always say, if you want to follow one of the best in this area, he is at the top of the list or very close to it. So Washington Weather Chasers over on Facebook and on YouTube and Instagram, and I think I'm hitting most of them. And he deserves whatever he gets because he works his tail off. And I'm not sure how he does it all. I wonder how I do it all, but he is, just really grateful for Ben and his friendship and teaching me a bunch of things over the years. And also just, honestly, I wish we could get together more often. But I know his family is growing and our family is busy. So anyway, so moving on from that, we looked at the wind. Let's look at tonight's model runs, and that will coincide with the snow potential up in the mountains. So I'm just going to refresh the GFS. I don't want to take too long on this, but just going to push this into motion here as we go into, and we've already talked about some of the surface stuff on this. We'll look at the rain in a minute, but as we go into Wednesday-ish, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you can see this trough coming down, and it is going to bring some decent mountain snow to our area. On into Thursday-ish, maybe even a little bit longer. And then this ridge builds in next week. And although it is, when I say builds in, it isn't a huge one, at least at the first. And I got to look at the euro again. But I suppose you could see maybe a little bit of an atmospheric river trying to set up here, maybe a little bit further north. And I don't see that being a potential issue here, especially if the snow levels are fairly low. And then as we, that on this run, this ridge does not set up very much here. And it looks like we may get, again, this is just one run, a little bit more a little bit more troughiness here as we go into Sunday. And then the ridge starts to reassert itself some. And there would be a line here of where there would be some rain coming in, probably into BC. And we're going to, we'll have to keep an eye on this ridge. And then now we're way too far out here to really talk about much of anything. So, and let's just take a look at the Euro 12Z earlier today. Here we go as we go into next week here. Here comes this trough, and the Euro looks else beyond that. So that translates to the surface here. Let's take a look at the GFS on the rain or precip here. We have a little precip overnight, which it was, and we'll show you the radar here, but it wasn't a whole lot. And as we push this into Sunday, we get some rain, it looks like on Sunday into Monday, mountains starting to get hit here. And then I think you're going to see on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we got some lowland precip, but look at this mountain total start to go up. In fact, I'm going to put this into the state of Washington, so we're a little closer on this. But look at this amount of precip. This would be snow up there. And so look at this, 6.5 inches, 7 inches on this GFS run tonight. And even down here, not a ton maybe. Oh, well, there'd be definitely some in Snoqualmie Pass. Stevens would be getting hit hard here. And even down into southern Washington. And we really need that right now. So this is going to be really good here. Look at this. even into the following week, and then that ridge probably, well, no, more precip, more snow. I mean, this run is very snowy in the mountains. Now, that doesn't mean a whole lot. We're only looking a few days out, so past that, it's probably pointless. Let's take a look at the Euro. I'm going to zoom in on the state here, just so we have a little closer look on precip here for the Euro. Actually, I want to do the 12Z, just so I get a little bigger picture. Some of this rain was from earlier today. Rain tomorrow, looks like Sunday. Starting to build some mountain precip. The Euro is fairly wet, as it usually is. Often more wetter than the GFS, seems like. But I suppose that's not always the case. Now we're heading into Tuesday here. Let's see if this mountain snow here goes. Look at these BC mountains are getting hit as well. Look, and down into here. This is good. Hopefully that some of this is snow. And the Euro is pretty wet in the lowlands as well. It's starting to build that snowpack up there. And then there, I think that's where the ridge sets up on the Euro. So let's take a look. And again, this is not set like, it's hard to, it just gives us an idea of what might be coming here. And I'm going to, again, zoom in on, actually, I'm going to zoom in on Seattle here. Because I want you to see, again, this is not a forecast necessarily, but it gives us an idea. So here we go. This is snow, and it's, this is kind of its best guess, an idea, excuse me, of what might be coming. But look at this. This is through Monday. And we'll take a look at snow levels here in just a minute. Here we go into Tuesday. Look at this. Don't worry about the lowlands. This is very low res, and it bleeds out. 50 inches. Look at this. Again, this is just an idea. But the GFS is very big on mountain snow coming up in the next week. Okay, let's take a look at the Euro. And I'm going to go into the state of Washington on this one, because I like to see a little bit of Oregon as well here. So let's just put this. Oh, no, that's the 18Z. I want to look at the 12Z. Okay, let's see. A little bit of snow coming as we go into tomorrow. And let's see. Tuesday through. Look at this. This is Tuesday. We're not even. This is Tuesday afternoon. Look at this. This is really. I hope this pans out. At least something like this. This would be really good. Look at these totals potentially for next week. So I'm going to stop right there because that would, this would be really, 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 really good. And I'm going to show you why. I've pulled up the Snowpack or snow water equivalent, and I'm going to make sure that I think you can all see this. Okay, let me show you this. This is a snow water equivalent. And this is for the whole Western U.S. Okay. Green is, about in the 90 to 109% is what this bar graph says. So blues are above that, and yellows and oranges and reds are bad. They're lower than average, okay? Percent of median for the last 30 years from 91 to 20. Is that 30 years? I believe it is. And so you can see overall where we live, it's 69%. But look at this. Oregon is horrible. Southwest and even over to the Olympics is bad. Northern California, not very good. Now you get down in here, the Sierras, and, some of this is really good shape. 180%. That's very good. And as you go into Nevada, 128%. But then some of this eastern Nevada, western Utah, and I don't want to get into all these states, but you can see the reds. But I'm most concerned, honestly, because this is closer to where we live, in this Southwest Washington, Oregon, Northern California. Idaho, Montana, they're sitting great, except little bits of Idaho. Okay, but when you zoom in to Washington, I want you to note something here. Even though that overall area showed it 69%, when you zoom in, we are sitting really good. We're at 99% of average. But the Olympics are not good. The central Cascades are not very good, and it gets worse as you go into the lower Columbia down here in the south. Now some of this area, like the upper Columbia, is in really good shape, but it's really the Southwest Washington, at least a good part of it. And then if you look, I think I have Oregon. Look at Oregon. Look at this. Oregon is very bad for mountain snow right now. We need Oregon. We need to get some mountain snow in the Southwest. I mean, we want it at Baker, but we're okay right now. But we're going to get a big hit of it, it looks like. Okay? So, and there was one thing else I wanted to mention. Oh, yeah. Let's look at the snow levels here. I'm going to flip this back over to another one of my windows that I have set up. So hold on one second while I turn this back on. Oops, and I just did that wrong. And for some reason, my viewer is not coming back. Okay, there it is. I want you to see, here's the snow levels at Heather Meadows, 4,200. This is the ski area. Look at this. What do you see? I mean, there is a range tonight, or into Sunday, but the average is below that 4,200 line. Okay, right here. There is some that could be a little bit above that, but this is the snow level. And look at this. Snow levels are going to drop. Look at this. Maybe 600 feet by Thursday. And then all the way through next week, the whole rest of the week, at this point, the snow levels are below the ski area level. Okay? And I'm not dealing with Snoqualmie and Stevens Pass, but, Stevens Pass is that 40... Oh, I always forget that. Is Stevens Pass 4,000 feet? Hold on. And, 4,062 is Stevens Pass, and Snoqualmie is about, 3,200, or is it 3,000? Snoqualmie Pass elevation is 3,000. Okay. So, 3,000, Snoqualmie would be, once you get into Monday or late Sunday, that's almost all below that pass. So that means Stevens would also be getting hit. So, there you go. That is a really nice looking snow pattern. And if we go back here to this right here, and I'm going to pull up something and show you this. Right here. No. Got to remember which tab it is. I got too many things open. One of these is Mount Baker. Here it is. Sorry about that. I forgot to close the tabs I wasn't going to show you tonight. But if you look at the ensemble off the 18Z Euro, look at this. Everything's below freezing or below into next Friday. And if we look at the 12Z, we are almost into Saturday. Almost the whole week is below until maybe Saturday night. And then we go above that, when we have that maybe ridge set up. But as long as we don't have a bunch of rain that would, do a whole lot to that, the ski area would easily be able to handle that without any issues. And then it looks like, potential drop down, but we can't worry about that. It's too far out. And then you look at the snow, and this is total snow. And I know you're going to be like, what are all these colors? Well, let me explain this. It's time for a weather lesson. This is the Euro Ensemble, 50 members. All run at a little bit 50 different like that. Probably because my kids are live streaming. That's why it's doing it. I got to tell them to quit doing that. So if you come down here to this bottom graph, the blue line is the control run, which is, I'm not going to explain that to you. The mean is the bars of all 50 members. By next Friday, it's sitting about 50 inches. I made a post about this earlier. 50 inches is the average of... Now, is Mount Baker Ski Area going to get 50 inches? I don't know. But it gives you an idea that a lot of mountain snow. And when you start seeing these purples, that's a good thing for the ski area. One of these, only one member is out of the purple by next Friday. And it's 27 inches. No, over 2 feet. But some of them are 60 inches, 70 inches. That's the high end. But a lot of them are in the 50s, upper 40s, upper 50s. But you see, you get an average. And it's really falling a lot. There is some before, but it's that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday time frame. And when you go over here to look at, let me pull the weather forecast up here for Mount Baker Ski Area. And then I will summarize what we've said tonight and answer some questions. So here's the Mount Baker ski area NOAA forecast. Okay. Tonight, they're calling for heavy snow, 3 to 5 inches. Sunday, heavy snow and breezy, dropping temps, 6 to 10 inches. Actually, this is elevation of 3,500 feet. Is that what I have this on? No, I have it at 4,200 feet. 4,200. You can see Monday snow, 4 to 8 inches on Sunday night, 2 to 4 on Monday, 2 to 4 Monday night, 10 to 14 on Tuesday, 6 to 10 Tuesday night, Wednesday snow, Thursday snow, Friday chance of snow, high of 31. So, I mean, this is going to change. But if you quick added this up on the high end, 15, 23, 27, 36, 50, 60. Well, they already got 60 inches by Tuesday night on this forecast now. Will that actually happen? Probably not. But I'm going to say 50 inches is a good shot here by next Friday. But I wouldn't be surprised to see it more. So, again, different things can happen, change that up, and trough positions and lots of things, and it isn't quite right. But everything, I mean, Tuesday night, heavy snow. Tuesday, heavy snow. Sunday night, heavy snow. Tonight, they're talking about heavy snow. So, great news. Let's just take a look at, oh boy, I'm not very good with the mountain pass. What is it? Mount Hood. What is the Mount Hood ski area? Hold on a second. Timberline Lodge. That's the one. Let's put Timberline Lodge. Timberline Lodge. Let's see if that comes up. Government camp. Let's see what theirs is. Okay, because this is Oregon. So south of Mount Hood, I guess. 4 to 8 inches. 3 to 5 inches. 2 to 4 inches. I mean, I don't know if this is Tuesday, 4 to 8 inches. 10 to 14 inches. 10 to 14 inches Tuesday night. This is elevation of 6,300 feet. Snow could be heavy at times. So, again, that's Oregon. That's kind of what I was looking at. So, hopefully, this will pan out, and we will see a bunch of mountain snow. And we will have a whole bunch more up at Baker coming up here soon. Okay, let me take a look here at the comments. I think I've caught up with most of them. Cheryl says, they live on Terrell Drive, real close to Jackson and Woolridge. We end up with flooding, and the area turns into a lake. Yes, I've seen that a few times. So Keith says he's been putting a lot of blogging on his Facebook page, and I've drawn, is it K-Dog Weather? Is that your Facebook page? I need to follow that, but appreciate that, Keith. But I think that's the right one. Josh says there's 5 inches of snow at the Nooksack Snowtel. Yep, and we can actually pull that all up too. So, just to pause here, if you like this live stream on YouTube, please like it. The more you watch, the more hours we get, and also if you would like to subscribe and haven't, and tell your friends about it, appreciate it. And also on Facebook, if you'd love it, like it. And I really appreciate all the comments. So, looks like Keith is writing some blogs about prevailing winds and snow pellets, hailstones, and hail difference. That's good. Josh wants to double the snowpack. The snowpack is sitting at about 50 inches, give or take. But let's just call it 50 inches. We can double that snowpack. I think we can do it. Let's check in a week. Actually, I will be out for a little bit next weekend, so I'm not sure I'll be able to do much for live streaming, but we will updates on the page. But 50, I think we can do it. Let's see. Again, now if the models back off on this, then it might not happen. But so, okay, any other questions or thoughts tonight? I think we've covered just about everything we wanted to do here. I'm going to show you a picture, if this will work right, of that I took as I was going up Mount Baker. So just for joining in, here's a picture. It's kind of my background that I was trying to use. This is White Salmon Lodge down here, ski lodge, and you can kind of see the ski lift or ski lift going up there. You have to look real hard, but this is beautiful Mount Chuckson, and it was a gorgeous blue sky day the other day. So yes, I know you want some lowland snow. A lot of people are asking about lowland snow. I just don't see any. So Josh says it didn't look like blue sky. I'm assuming the blue sky day. No, we really had a great day up there on Tuesday. It was 38. It was perfect. So Jennifer says, "What did you miss? Where's the snow?" There is. It's all going to the mountains. We're going for about 50 inches by next week on the ensemble for Euro, but and it's 50 inches right now. We're going for double the snowpack. If we get double the snowpack, okay. If we get double the snowpack, I am going by next weekend. Okay, at Mount Baker ski area. Somebody keep me accountable on this. I will give something away of my photography. Might be a puzzle. I mean, I've been giving some calendars away, but yeah, I'm gonna say yes. We're gonna have that. We're gonna double the snowpack at the Mount Baker ski area by a week. Let's give it till Saturday morning. But okay, Jennifer wants 4 to 6 inches here this month. Well, let's take a look at maybe the Euro is going to be friendly to us or something, but the GFS is not showing anything. Let's take a look here. Let's go back to Weatherbell and take a look at tonight's Euro, which is kind of just getting going, so it's not really going to be much of anything, I don't think. In fact, I'm not even sure it's barely started. So I would like to see what they're saying for mountain snow. If I can hold this live stream a little bit longer, then we'll look at the Euro tonight. Yeah, I'll find something behind me to give away. Yeah, I got a few things. I got a few ideas, but I'm telling you, and it will be on the live stream. We will only win if you're on the live stream the next time I live stream. Okay, after next Saturday, whenever the next time is. I haven't sure when that will be. I will give away a prize if we double the snowpack by next Saturday at Mount Baker ski area, and I'm saying it's going to happen, at least at this point. Okay, so hold me to that. All of you, remember that. Jennifer's had a long day, it sounds like. I think if you have any other questions, I just don't see any lowland snow at this moment. What else could I yap about while I let the Euro go tonight? Let me take a look at something here. Let's look at the radar. Let's take a look at the radar scope here. And let me just swap OBS over here to the radar scope. Let's see if I can get that. That should be on there. Okay, let's take a look at the radar. So we do have some light showers up into the mountains. So probably is snowing up there. Let me turn this off a second. Okay, there we go. But we do have some rain out there. So it looks like the best we blocked to due north, basically. But this Half Moon Peak one, man, it really does a great job at finding this. So definitely have some rain and got some snow. It appears to be up in the upper, 4,000 feet and above. Kind of surprised, I guess, they don't have a winter weather advisory if they're calling for that much snow. Although, yeah, we'll see. And let's go back here to before we check on the Euro. Let's go back here and take a look at and see if they have updated this, because we're now past 9 o'clock. Let's see if they've gotten any more snow up there at, let me refresh this, at the ski area. Well, it is precipitating. It is 32 degrees. I don't know why this 46 does that, but it went 0.08 of an inch, 0.08 in the last hour, and it's 32 degrees. I'm saying it snowed at least another inch or close to it. Maybe the 46 means it's not quite an inch, but it's definitely going to register this next hour. No question about it. There's going to be another inch up there, at least in my opinion. We'll see. I could be wrong. Okay, let's take a look at the Euro here real quick and see if it's updated far enough out. So we'll go like this and go like that. Getting this figured out. Okay, let's take a look at the Euro and see here if... I'm just kind of looking to see if it's still locking in on the trough setup for next week, which I'm thinking here it comes. It's not going to be... Here comes Monday. Looks like it's coming. And we go into Tuesday, and that's as far out as it is. So Okay, everybody. Yeah, I think I've rambled on long enough. Thank you for joining. Had a good number tonight, so really appreciate that. We'll be updating some of the things on YouTube here coming soon. Yeah, I think it's going to continue to be, we had kind of a benign week overall here. Somewhat nice days and dry and cool. We got some freezing temps. That was good. I know people are mowing their lawns. I know flowers are still growing. But it looks like we're going to have cool weather coming into next week with some big mountain snows. Coastal flood warning, I'll post that here in just a minute. You guys all have a great night. Thanks for joining.